You are listening to the Billy Dees podcast.
All right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. As always, I am absolutely thrilled that you are here. I always say it because I used to get imitated by, that was the joke. I'm going to do like Billy Dees. I'm absolutely thrilled so I always stress that. That's the inside joke. If this is your first time here, we're primarily an interview and a commentary-based program. Today, I have an interview for you, and unlike a lot of times when we have political pundits on here and stuff like that, I have someone from the entertainment industry. April Brucker is on the line. April, so glad you are here.
And I'm glad to be here, Billy. How are you today?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Absolutely. Let me tell you a little bit about April. She has accomplished something that few historians, scholars, and apparently sane people have never attempted. She has written a 250-year history of talking dummies. Well, that's kind of like politics, right? It's just
right. Absolutely. Yeah. 250 years of American ventriloquism, how ventriloquism influenced American culture. It is basically 2.5 centuries of talking about how ventriloquism has always influenced American culture. And it's always been a cornerstone of the American entertainment experience, yes. Whether it was American medicine shows in the 1800s, vaudeville, television, film, internet, and it's been at the cornerstone of every cultural movement, whether it was civil rights, the women's movement, LGBTQ rights, and even politics.
Yes, well, that's a lot. You are a ventriloquist, comedian, actress, television personality, and an author whose career has included appearances on Judge Jerry, My Strange Addiction, and What Would You Do, and many other television shows. Now, in honor of the America's 250th anniversary, she's written 250 Years of American Ventriloquism, How Ventriloquism Influenced American Culture, a fascinating and surprisingly funny look at how ventriloquists, puppets, and talking dummies helped shape American entertainment, comedy, broadcasting, advertising, and pop culture. Now, let's start a little bit with you. Where are you from?
I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, specifically a little town called Bethel Park. And if you're into American history, it's the home of the Whiskey Rebellion.
Oh, okay. You're not far from me at all. I'm in Ohio.
Oh, we're in Ohio.
I'm actually in Canton, Ohio, by the Professional Football Hall of Fame. And there's plenty of Steelers in there.
Nice. Yes, here we go. Here we go.
Actually, my mother and I think Joe Namath was from Beaver Falls.
Yes, Joe Namath was from Beaver Falls. And in the small world department, my high school's athletic director, the late Paul Zolak, he was Joe Montana's high school football coach and actually said that Joe Montana was something special even then. And just a very nice man. And I miss him greatly. But I'm glad that I came from where I did, Bethel Park, because it made me the woman that I am today.
Absolutely. Were you like in the school drama club? Was that you or?
Yes. In high school, I was. I was in the school drama club. I was in the school musical specifically. And Todd Kazawa, Mrs. Reed, the late Suzanne Reed were wonderful teachers, David Bitzo. I also did a television show, 3 of them at BPTV 7. One was April Talk, where I interviewed people. I was no Billy Dees, but I tried. The other was April Rock, where I interviewed bands, Let Me Do the Headbang. And the third was Story Time with April and Friends, where my puppet Sweetie Pie and I read bedtime stories to children. And while DVDs were a thing, and this is how old I am, I sent them to public access stations around the world. And coming out of high school, Storytime with April and Friends was on television in 36 states, 6 countries, in the World Wide Web.
That's fantastic. What got ventriloquism? I'm going to mispronounce that sooner or later. So far, I'm doing okay.
It's okay. You're doing good. You're doing good. I can't even pronounce it some days, and I wrote the book, so there we go.
Yeah. What got you? What got that on your radar?
Oh gosh, Billy, I grew up without cable.
Oh, okay.
And as you know, you're from Ohio. I'm from Western Pennsylvania. Football's king,
oh,
right?
Absolutely.
So when I was in middle school, we finally got cable because my brother was playing. And one Friday night, we're watching the local scores. My dad hated getting the 40 channels, hated 40 more channels of commercials, okay, because my dad was old school. And there was an Edgar Bergen television special. My family members, because you had Jeff Dunham on there, Ron Lucas, were trying to talk like the ventriloquists. I had my great-grandmother's sideways Irish smile. And she's the one that could talk like the ventriloquist. Mr. Hand. Okay, Mr. Hand. You were wondering when she was going to make people talk. Mr. Hand, this is a audio medium. They can hear me. Talk to the hand.
That's so good. Is there like a school for that, or do you just kind of learn it? You practice it, like impressions. Some people can do them pretty well. Some people can't. I think you either have the ability or you don't.
That's a good question, because some people are fabulous impressionists. For me, I was self-taught. I just went down the rabbit hole watching ventriloquism. But I actually wrote another book called Don't Read My Lips, where I talk about how I learned ventriloquism, and I just tell the audience everything I learned and as a ventriloquist. And that's the way I teach it. But other people have written books. Paul Winchell wrote a book called Ventriloquism for Fun and Profit that is amazing. And it's been an inspiration for me. And so it's one of those things that you learn by books, but you really have to practice. And my belief is that anybody can be a good ventriloquist. You just have to practice.
Yeah. It's just like anything else. I'm kind of a fan of the history of broadcasting. We talk about it a lot on the show. What role did ventriloquists play during the early days of radio and television?
They played a huge role. As a matter of fact, Edgar Bergen, he was a ventriloquist from the 1930s. I just referenced him a second ago, had a very popular radio program with his sidekick, Charlie McCarthy. And long before Americans had influencers, reality stars, viral stars, ventriloquists created memorable characters that Americans followed as celebrities. And there were people that were unaware that Charlie was a dummy. Charlie got fan mail.
Oh, wow.
And so they did not originate the Doubles Act, because the Doubles Act actually came from the British music halls. But they brought the Doubles Act to the forefront. And because of the success of Edgar and Charlie on the radio, a lot of times when you watch morning television or listen to morning radio or any kind of radio, really, you have a duo hosting.
Yes.
And that was their big mark. And the other thing was with television and Ed Sullivan. You see, ventriloquists became household names for the first time. Mm-hmm. And lots of people were suddenly exposed to ventriloquism, and they were awestruck. And folks like Edgar Bergen and Paul Winchell, they licensed their characters.
Yeah.
And so children wanted ventriloquist figures. They said to their parents, hey, take us to the toy store. I want a ventriloquist doll. And they drove mom and dad crazy.
Yeah.
And then it also became children's entertainment, whether it was Paul Winchell, because the clubhouse format was becoming very important, Sherry Lewis, and ventriloquism became that staple in American culture.
Interesting. Now, I didn't realize, I knew that, that type of thing going back to vaudeville was certainly a type of entertainment. I didn't realize that it went back 250 years. What inspired you to, or did you just know that it went that far back, or what inspired you to do all that research?
Ventriloquism has been around for a long time, actually since the Oracle of Delphi. That was the first recorded ventriloquist. As a matter of fact, I can easily say she was messing with Oedipus Rex. For those of you that know the story, you know what I mean. But nobody had ever written down the story of American ventriloquism. And it survived in show programs, playbills, billboard, word of mouth. I wanted to be the one to do it.
Interesting. When you were researching this, Did you have any? Now here's the thing: when somebody is passionate about a project, they probably know most of the history. Like my dad, for example, very big on the Civil War. So when he researched some of the stuff that he wrote and everything, he knew a lot of stuff, and nothing really came as a surprise. Did anything surprise you though when you were researching this? Did something really just come across you and say, "Wow, this is different"?
Yes. America's first celebrity ventriloquist, comedian, magician, headliner was a man by the name of Richard Potter. And he toured in the 1830s. And Richard Potter was black. And he toured not only New England, but he also toured the South when there was slavery. White audiences were coming to see him.
Wow.
And another surprising fact about Richard Potter was he was the inspiration for the character of Samuel Peyton in Peyton Place.
Interesting. Well, those are all interesting little tidbits there. If you could go back in time, first of all, what would you want to interview a past ventriloquist, or would you want to maybe exist at a different time then? And we'll get into what's happening now with media, but would you want to exist in a different time back in the day?
Oh, gosh, that's a tricky one. I would love to talk to the Great Lester. And I mentioned the Great Lester in my book because the Great Lester was America's first international ventriloquist superstar. Long before there was Jeff Dunham, the Great Lester was touring the world, and he was the first big American act that went global. What made Lester so extraordinary wasn't just his ability as a voice thrower, but he mentored young ventriloquists. And there was one kid by his stage door that would not go away. And he was 17. His family was poor, and they thought he was wasting his time. That kid was a young Edgar Bergen.
Oh, wow.
I would love to have heard what he was like as a young ventriloquist. And the other thing was the Great Lester had a bit where he called his sister from the afterlife, and he freaked the audience out. I would love to see him do that.
Oh, wow. Especially back then, the superstitions, well, I don't suppose they've gone away, but there was a lot more of that back in the day. So I can imagine some audiences were actually, pretty nervous about that.
Oh, they were. And actually, you want to talk about superstition, the way ventriloquism made it to the United States, and I'm speaking as a person, not just as a historian, and America does not get an A for this. It made its way to the United States on the slave ships. You see, in African cultures, they believe that the dead exist in the gut. And the ventriloquists were the first dead talkers, technically. Okay. And so ventriloquism was a part of a religious ceremony. And the irony is that a lot of the ministers and white lawmakers that outlawed this were studying and translating the Oracle of Delphi.
Okay.
So ventriloquism was always going to be ironic. It was always comedy. That's what I say.
Yes. That's really some really cool stuff. Is ventriloquism in today's culture, like I did stand up back in the day. I never did anything like what you do, but I just did normal stand up political stuff and stuff about dating and all that kind of thing. I think that political correctness and some other things have kind of curbed what comedy was when I was coming up in it. In this day and age, is there a lot of subject matter? Has it changed? What you can do with your comedy, with your act?
To answer this question, I have a sidekick, Mae Wilson. Would you like to meet her?
Absolutely.
Well, hello, Billy Dees. April didn't say that you would be so handsome.
Oh, well, she kept that to herself, April. How are you?
I'm good. It's Mae Wilson to you.
Mae. I'm sorry. I read the name wrong. Mae.
No. April put her name up. She didn't want to talk about my brilliance. So what was the question you had for me, Billy?
Well, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
Well, I'm from Pocatello, Idaho.
Oh, awesome. That's Idaho's a great state.
Yes, a lot of potatoes and nothing to do. You see, my mother's a sock, my father's a pillowcase. I came into this world confused.
That's funny. Mae, so are you? What do you do? What's your relationship with April?
You see, I'm April's roommate.
Oh.
April is just like right here. I'm the star, okay? And so the question is, how much can you get away with in comedy? Well, when you're as beautiful as I am, you can get away with anything.
That is so true. They call it, what is it, a pretty privilege. Is that what you have?
Yes, pretty privilege. You see, I get away with everything. Well, the wisecracking dummy can get away with everything. The correct term is textile American. Textile American? Yes. My people didn't go the real lines, but we built the punch lines.
That's funny. Absolutely. What is your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show? Anything that I've been on. Mae, oh my God. What's your favorite TV show? Let's try this again. Well, my favorite TV show was anything with Anna Nicole Smith. She's my hero. Why is Anna Nicole your hero? Well, she married a rich man and got all this money. So, Billy, how old are you?
How old am I? Well, let's see here. I'm 60.
You know what? You are far too young for me. Call me in 30 years.
I'm of the age where I don't hear that too often. You're too young for me.
Well, May, but you know, like, what about all of Billy's other qualities? Like, he might be nice, you know? Are you wealthy?
No, not really. I'm no Elon Musk, that's for sure.
Elon Musk? Did you say that he's here? I gotta go, Billy. It's so long. Nothing personal.
Yes.
This is what I deal with.
Yes.
But yeah, they can get away with anything. I cannot. And I've always said that, you know, I have a career because of these guys. And just to let you know, people, you know, they either get away with stuff or somebody wants to punch them. With her, she was actually on What Would You Do?
Okay.
And for those of you that don't know, it's a hidden camera show. And we were down at the South Street Seaport as the snarky ventriloquist duo. And we were insulting a woman sitting on a bench. And the woman was a homeless woman, but she was really an actress. And this doorman comes out and he is smoking a cigarette. He's not supposed to be on a smoke break. He's angry and he's like, stop making fun of the homeless woman. And I'm like, it's not me, it's her. He goes, well, when the cops come, they're going to arrest both of you.
That's funny.
And so, of course, he's smoking the cigarette afterwards and they're interviewing him for What Would You Do? And he's like, I had no clue. And so, but people get mad at them, but they get away with stuff. They can do the things that we can't. That's the beauty of a puppet.
Yes. Getting back to the media of today, there's so much going on with, you know, AI now. You know, people are making digital dummies, for lack of a better term.
Oh, yes. Digital dummies and avatars. And that is one place the art form is going. And that's ventriloquism's influence once again. Absolutely.
Okay. So you if I'm getting your drift on this, you are for embracing that technology as opposed to fighting it.
Listen, ventriloquism has survived because ventriloquists have always been innovators. Since vaudeville, ventriloquists had to be singers, comedians, and character people and stand-up comedians in one act. And when vaudeville started to die as radio and television were coming into play, people were like, ventriloquists can't be on the radio. Bergen did it. Television. Winchell did it. We've always embraced change. And so we're embracing change now. Mm-hmm. But here's the other side of the coin. Everybody's afraid of technology, but there's always going to be the need to see something simple, like a person talking to a puppet. Mm-hmm. People are always going to want that human interaction. Live theater is not going to die. I just think that there's a lot of panic. I mean, and the other thing is that there were lawyers that used AI to write a court document. AI cited fake cases.
Yeah. It's
not perfect.
Mm-hmm. Correct. I wasn't sure you were going to follow that up. What I would ask you, we talked about, before we started the program today, how people do have an odd psychological, sometimes it's good. Like you say, they see the person as a character and will laugh at the dummy or the wood or whatever it is. They'll see this as a person. Sometimes they get a little put off by it. Sometimes they're like, well, what is this? I'm not going to do that.
Oh, absolutely. Popophobia is a real fear of puppets. It's a term. And this is why ventriloquism has always lived in the horror genre, whether it's The Great Gobbo, Dead Silence, Magic. It's been embraced by Hollywood, and even the Tales from the Crypt, which ironically the Crypt Keeper was a licensed puppet a la Charlie McCarthy. There's an episode where Don Rickles plays a ventriloquist in the Catskills, and there were at least 5 or 6 vents that he was perhaps based off of.
Interesting. What do you think it is that goes on in the human mind? Because now, we not only have puppets that people can react to and have this psychological relationship with, for better or for worse, but there's technology coming now. I don't know if you've seen some of these dolls that are being made now. That the hands and everything, the veins, the texture of the skin, they look so real. I kind of think sometimes that they're going to blur what people feel as emotions with inanimate objects. Have you delved into that at all? Have you thought about having that kind of technology at your disposal where you could actually have a very human-like creature being next to you?
I haven't thought about the technology, but I can see where it's going there. And ventriloquism actually was many, many years ahead of the curve. There's another fellow I talk about in my book by the name of Stanley Burns, and he wrote a book called Ventriloquism from BC to TV. He was an early mentor of Sherry Lewis. He actually had animatronics in his act. He was the first. His puppets walked on stage on their own. They moved on their own. They did everything on their own. So we've been ahead of the curve. The art form's been ahead of the curve. And when animation came into play, everybody was afraid that puppets would be wiped out of children's television. You know what Paul Winchell did? He took his voiceover skills into the booth. So ventriloquism, 1, will survive. And 2, I say if you can make Mae Wilson a talking, breathing human being, hey.
I don't want to get in any way, shape, or form personal, but it does beg the question. When you are on a date or when you were early dating, and you were sitting around your apartment and you pulled out Mae, what kind of a reaction did you get?
Well, for those of you that might not know me, I was on a show called My Strange Addiction. Because many years ago, I was engaged to a guy. And on the 3rd date, he said, "Me or the puppets." And I wanted to be a ventriloquist more than anything in the world. But I wanted to be practical. I wanted to get married. So I put the puppets under the bed. They're collecting dust. I'm shocked when he's a controlling narcissist with other problems. I mean, I'm the only one that's shocked. Nobody else was shocked but me.
Yeah.
Well, long story short, I missed the puppets. I got them out and I told them where to go. And now if anybody doesn't like the puppets, it's a deal breaker. But the good news is I spent every hour that God sent from there on out trying to be the best ventriloquist that I could be. And from there on out, I just performed anywhere that they would let me. And I ended up on a show called My Strange Addiction, which is streaming worldwide now. Initially, it was on TLC. Yeah. But it's streaming worldwide. I've been featured in the UK Daily Mail, etc. But I say, if you don't like my puppets, you know where to go. There's no room without a door.
Yes, that's a good. Well, so many people, and it just doesn't apply to what you do. They have a certain passion, and then they meet somebody, and that person knows that going in. Whether it's a love of horses or whatever. Okay, and that this person is going to spend a lot of time doing this because it gives them fulfillment. And it from the very beginning. That's what irritates me, is these people get into relationships, they meet somebody who's passionate about something, and instead of supporting them, they look at it as, well, that's going to be time away from me.
Well, it's because a lot of people are selfish, unfortunately. They come into dating and they're very selfish. But the way I look at it is, if somebody doesn't like you for you, that should be the ultimate deal breaker. And I'm glad that I chose my puppets, because getting to write about this extraordinary community and the extraordinary people that paved the way made me realize that I was just a speck, and I was lucky even to be a footnote in a much bigger story.
Yes. Your book is called 250 Years of American Ventriloquism, How Ventriloquism Influenced American Culture. You made me say it twice. The author's name, just I always try to mention it every so often, April Brucker. Where can people find out more about you? I mean, you mentioned a few things that are streaming. Do you have a social media account? I would think that TikTok or something like this would be great for what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. It's the new age online variety show, and there's a lot of great talent coming up through TikTok, especially female talent.
Yes.
Megan Casey, Captain Jenny's another one, Christine Barger. But me, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I have a website, I have a YouTube. I'm there.
Awesome. Well, that is absolutely fantastic. What has the reaction to the book been?
The reaction to the book has been, and folks hit me up at aprilbrucker.tv. The reaction to the book has been great, because not only did I write a history book, but it was the history of ventriloquism. And I do not have a degree from Columbia University, though my mother would have loved that. I have an MFA in creative writing from Antioch University, Los Angeles, but I wrote it as a practitioner of the art form, because much like magic, this has been passed down from generation to generation. And the reaction has been mostly positive, but it's a reflection on ventriloquism itself, because on a platform known as school, it's a platform online, I founded an international group known as the Ventriloquist Guild, and we have members from all over the world. And we had one young man from Cuba who could not get the literature. So people, and these were government sanctions, mind you, sent him PDFs, etc. And that just speaks to the strength of the community. And so the reaction to the book, and I know that I'm circling the airplane, has been excellent, because not only is the community is strong worldwide.
Yes. That school is SKOOL, correct?
Correct. SKOOL.
Awesome. There's a lot of people out there that read books for a lot of different reasons. Ventriloquism is probably not on a lot of people's radar. But now that they've heard about it, it seems like you tie in a lot of aspects of history, lots of amusing anecdotes, things like that. What do you hope the reader takes away from the book?
I hope the reader takes away that ventriloquism has been at the cornerstone of everything. And just as America changes, so does ventriloquism, whether it's been Willie Tyler and Lester as the first Black performers on a primetime show with Laugh-In, Sherry Lewis, who, much like Lucille Ball, was a girl boss on screen and off, Waylon Flowers and Madam, who created the LGBTQ voice. And the other thing is that puppets and politics have always been intertwined. Hello, it's Donald J. Trump. President Trump, would you like to say anything? Yes. My look for this podcast is yes, just like my hands.
Awesome. Well, that's quite the character there. Are you trying to make ventriloquism great again?
Yes, ventriloquism is great. So, President Trump, why should any big plans for the 4th of July? Well, I'm going to throw the greatest party ever. It's going to be tremendous. What are you doing? I'm reading a book. You're reading a book. 250 Years of American Ventriloquism. And what else are you doing? I'm telling everybody that I'm the greatest president ever. So, President Trump, what else are you doing? I'm working on my stand-up comedy routine. Your stand-up comedy routine. Would you like to hear a joke? No. What do you call one illegal immigrant on the moon? I'm not so sure. I want to know, President Trump. A problem. What do you call 10 illegal immigrants on the moon? I don't know. An even bigger problem. What do you call 1 million illegal immigrants on the moon? I don't know. Problem solved. To the moon, April. To the moon. And what else are you doing? I'm not swimming in the reflecting pool. It has too much algae.
That is so cool. Any closing words?
Yes. Let's make ventriloquism great again.
Awesome.
Thank you. I felt that I had to just do a little, presidential humor that made everybody from both parties laugh. But get 200. But yes, my closing words are 250 years of American ventriloquism, how ventriloquism influenced American culture. It's available anywhere books are sold. And it is a special semi-quincentennial edition. And it has 2.5 centuries of American entertainment history. And I hope everybody adds it to their summer reading.
Awesome. Well, April, I got to tell you, when I found out about this interview, I wasn't exactly sure what to expect, but this was very interesting. It was entertaining.
Thank you.
And I'm sure your book is all of those things as well. And what more can you ask for? Thank you so much for coming on the program, April. I'm so glad you made it on.
Thank you.
Sure. My name is Billy. I can't say my own name. I made it through ventriloquism and I can't say my name. My name is Billy Dees, and you can find the Billy Dees podcast anywhere you find podcasts. We are on them all. We have over a 10-year history. And as far as social media goes, I'm still going to say X, which is the former Twitter. That's kind of like my social media home at Billy Dees. You can find me there. Thank you so much for checking out our show today. And we will talk to you again very, very soon. I'm Billy Dees and host of the self-titled podcast, The Billy Dees Podcast. We are primarily an interview and a commentary-based podcast featuring authors and creators talking about their craft, advocates for community issues, and myself and an array of co-hosts discussing current events. There's no partisan ranting and raving going on here, just great content. You can find the Billy Dees Podcast on your favorite platform and on Twitter at Billy Dees. Thank you, and I hope you listen in.